I'm here on the Voith booth with Brent. Brent, I had the opportunity back in June this year to go on the Voith Discover Hydroport tour around Europe, which was fascinating. Now, here on the Voith booth here at PowerGen, you've got Voith Turbo, you've got Voith Hydro, you've got your ventures.
Absolutely.
You're a big company. But one of the things that struck me when I was out on the Discover Hydro adventure was you guys are known for being one of the leaders in developing hydro power plants.
Absolutely.
But you're digitizing everything as well.
Right.
So what's new with digitization with you guys?
Sure. There's a fair number of things that we're doing that are new. I'd say the philosophy that we've adopted as we've been working with people in the market is we're moving from the 3.0, the traditional sort of control loops and that type of thing, to move things more into the cloud. Now, obviously, as you move into the cloud, you have to start thinking about things around security. If you move data out of the facility, you have to start thinking about how do you segment that data, how do you make sure you're working with the right partner, but also you have to consider how do you keep things vendor agnostic, because you want your customers, the folks who are running the power plants, to have the choice of what technology is best of class, best in breed. You want them to be able to compete that technology for whatever's best for them now and in the future.
And one of the things that I saw up in Iceland in one of the plants that you were installing at the time was like acoustic monitoring systems.
Absolutely.
Which is probably not the first thing I would have thought of when I go digitization.
It's really amazing, this whole idea, and when you talk to the folks who operate unmanned power plants, it's even more exciting. So this idea that you could retrofit a facility, you don't have to turn it down, you don't have to shut it down, it's not a huge shutdown time or anything like that, there's no shutdown. You install a microphone, a number of microphones strategically placed, that information is then analyzed, they're sound matching, whatever. Certain sounds may mean that there's a failure that's imminent, but that information then comes back to a remote location, again into the cloud, so you're thinking about that. But now, all of a sudden, you have this capability where you're watching a facility 24/7. It doesn't cost you more manpower. In fact, it may reduce it. And more importantly, what we found in the field is that now people know what equipment or repair equipment to take out to the field, so that they have the right so they have the right thing at the right time at the right place.
They don't drive out, go wrong wrench and back of the truck. And
so you ask them today, you say, "What do you do?" And they say, "Well, we use the iPhone with FaceTime." And when you get there, we talk about what it may be. Well, that means you assume you have everything on the truck, you need to fix it. What if you forgot the one thing that was necessary? So where we see this actually helping, not only in the larger facilities that are manned, but really where they get excited is in the unmanned facilities.
No, and what was fascinating was that they said the experienced staff that have been here can walk into the room and they'll go, something's off.
Right.
They just sense it, hear it, and basically you were digitizing that capability.
Absolutely. So all the people who are starting to field that are really excited about it.
Good. Now, with digitization comes lots of advantages and huge opportunities. Cybersecurity pops in as well.
Right.
Now you guys had an announcement last week around cybersecurity.
Right. So we've teamed up with a company called Kudelski. They're here with us in PowerGen.
Yep.
And what they offer is they work with us on the front end to do assessments. So we look at the OT, the IT, and the IoT in combination. You have a holistic approach. We also see that that's really important to look at it from an outsider, because they need to build their own small amount of capability as much as they want internally, but to have a third party to actually do that helps make sure it's very objective. So when we look at it, we can help them understand where's the biggest bang for their buck, where are their greatest vulnerabilities, and really help them march through with a roadmap. The other thing we offer is managed services. So what you find in most cases in the other vendors that may be offering things is they don't have the 24/7 by 365, where someone is proactively watching their facility and watching all the security inside and outside to make sure there isn't a breach, and if there is a breach, someone's addressing it immediately.
So they know what's going on.
That's huge.
Situational awareness.
That's huge, and I don't think most people are thinking about that, but we offer that as well.
Wow. Now, and the last thing, you guys have a new adaptive training platform, because at this event and in the energy industry across the board, there is a strategic challenge in we have an aging workforce.
Right.
The skills are in people's heads. You're trying to attract the next generation.
Right.
They're they have different priorities than we had, or I'll speak for myself, but I had. So what are you doing with this training platform?
Right, so although we do, you're talking about the silver tsunami, that's how we refer to it internally, and also the millennials maybe coming into the workforce.
Yep.
We understand that there's a change. We know we need to capture that knowledge before it leaves, so we don't want the brain drain, right?
Yep.
But we also need to make things so that people can get up to speed faster in the workforce. So there's two approaches we have that. One is we have asset management software that helps codify that knowledge and get people so that they can run best practices of all those best practices, but capture that knowledge before the gray foxes or the silver tsunami leaves, or if they're consulting, capture it that way. But what you're mentioning on the training is we have this program called Drive, D-R-I-V-E, which has innovation built in for the I, and for employees with the E. But the whole idea is that one of the first things you have to do is get people conversant with the vocabulary 4.0. So what Drive really focuses on is getting people up to speed in a non-threatening way, sort of fun, small micro-learnings, but then ultimately evolves into making sure that the right training is delivered to the right people at the right time, potentially right before they need it. So you can imagine them have to do bearing replacement.
Right.
That training could actually show up when they go to do the maintenance, or maybe the hour before they're scheduled to do that maintenance. So they just got the training, it's fresh in their mind, now they go do it, or they could refer to it as they need it.
As opposed to putting them in a training room for 2 years, giving them everything.
And they only remember 10% of the information.
And then send them off in the truck.
Right. So the idea here is that the ultimate goal is to have it adaptive, and then also let them apply it so it's constructive, right? So they say there's 10% is in the boardroom. When you're actually listening to it, it's very dogmatic. 20% is sort of synthesizing or watching it, but 70% is actually kinesthetic. You have to touch it, do it yourself to actually ingrain it in your brain.
And kudos to Voith. I saw you guys. You have a AR solution for training, and you've been keeping up with a lot of the
and we have
gadgets.
VR, right? So we have some VR. We do that in hydro as well as some other industries. And the idea there is you can actually simulate it, get oriented to it very well, and you can actually see facilities before they're built, which is nice too. So you already get people up and going, and the millennials love that stuff, right?
No, agreed. Hey, thank you very much, and I wish you well.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming out. Yes, sir.